Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About Lego. As you all know, Jason, the brick stop, is out for a few weeks during his move. So I've asked Dana, TroublesBricking, to jump in and fill in for him while we do this awesome space talk because he's a space nut. And, I figured it was relevant for him to be in on this video. So we already have one of our regulars in here, Steve. NASA says never a straight answer. That's because NASA is controlled by the government, Steve. On that note, good evening. Good evening to you, sir. How are you? Lady Bricks is in here. Hello. So, Dana, how's it going?
It's going good. It's going good.
Do you have any projects going on right now?
Look, there comes Fazoom. Yep. So projects, I've actually got like 5 little projects going on all at one time. I never seem to be doing just one project at a time.
I know how that feels.
Yeah. So it's like, well, I'm waiting for parts for this. I'll start working on that. Oh, I need more parts for that. So then I want more parts and I'm working on something else. So I've been doing the space babies. Mm-hmm. That's my thing. I'm almost done with, I did 78, 79, and I got one more set that I'm doing for 1980. I'm waiting on some parts for that, which is the Beta 1 base. So yep. I'm missing some parts for that. So that's going to cap off my first volume of the sets. And then I'm going to go ahead and then start working. And I'm actually going to start staggering them out. Before I was just kind of like trying to blast them out all at once because I was just all excited. But now I'm going to have to start pacing a little bit more as I'm waiting to find more babies. And also I'm realizing, okay, I need additional parts because normally you do something, you tear it all apart when you're done but I want to get them all so I can take them all to Chicago for one big space build. So yeah. I got to get more parts to make sure everything happens.
Yeah, from what I saw on your Instagram, you have quite a few of the space babies.
I am up to 51 space babies.
Do you need 51 space babies?
I don't personally need 51 space babies, but there are 74 classic space sets. And within those 74 sets, there was 111 figures. So in theory, I need I need 111 babies to represent those 111 space figures. So
yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably wind up still having to borrow. I mean, I borrowed some from the last show that I did, and I'll probably have to wind up borrowing some more again when I go to Chicago, unless I'm actually able to find another 50 between now and Chicago. Luckily, I've got a couple of people out there finding some more for me. So we'll see by the time comes. So, but I'm also doing something non-space related, which is weird, which involves these little purple trees.
Oh, I did see that on your Instagram. Here, let me pull you up real quick.
Yeah. So these purple trees, I've actually got a full island of them. So I'm doing a whole diorama, and they're actually going to go into my Lego store as a display for my lug. And so it was a project I thought about last year, and I ordered parts for it, but then I never finished it. And so now I was in between projects, and I'm like, I guess it's a perfect time to work on that. So
yeah, for sure, man. Fazoom says you've got his space babies.
I do. I do have 4 of his space babies. I do have 4.
Well, I only got 2. I only have 2. I only need 2, right? I don't need a whole bunch.
Normally, when it comes to CMFs, I usually just get 1 of each. But when this project started, I was like, well, if I'm going to do a few of them, I've got to.
I mean, you got to do it. Yeah, you got to go all the way.
Yeah, I got to go all the way. So
I know how you feel. I'm working on some Blacktron stuff, so I've got Blacktron parts everywhere. I've got tubs that are like literally that's Blacktron stuff. Like they don't go anywhere else.
Right.
And I recently bought 25 of the classic figs and a bunch of the CMFs that match the Blacktron. So I know how it goes.
Yeah.
Lady Bricks says she loves those. I assume the little white trees with the purple on them, of course. I am super excited to have just completed my 11 classic space.
That is awesome.
Figures on the Everyone is Awesome platform. I literally just got the last one today. It's a little rough, but it will work. It's the blue one. The blue one is kind of rough around the edges.
Okay.
But the black one's in mint condition, so I can't complain.
So now I'm guessing that the aqua and the bright green are customs, or is that what you got there?
No, they're all, these are all official Lego prints.
Well, now, okay, so now you gotta educate me. Did you? Because
I
they
can
never.
do that. Ask.
So how did you get a bright green instead of a regular green
Well,
torso?
it's not a bright green. It's actually, if you actually look at the color of it, it's actually like
Oh,
the regular green color.
okay, you swapped it out. All right, I
Yeah,
got you.
I didn't change the green on the platform. It is actually a lighter green.
Now I understand. That's where my brain was at the hiccup. I'm like, but
Yeah,
wait a minute, the greens are different. So now I
I know.
understand.
I'm overlooking it,
Okay, that works for me. That works
right?
for me. 'Cause my thought was is that if I was to do that, I would swap out that green stripe with the other green. That's
Yeah.
where I would have gone. But yeah, no,
I
that works.
think other people had done it that way.
Yeah,
But I just wanted to change the gray. The light blue to the gray or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm super thrilled that I have all 11 of the figures, and it's got a nice little cozy spot up here on the shelf that it's going to sit on for a while.
I'm still waiting on. I haven't either buttoned the bullet and bought that Chinese New Year set yet. I'm gonna wait until those air tanks and those helmets come up on Bricks and Pieces. It'll happen eventually, right?
Well, they're on Bricklink,
Yeah, yeah.
but
How about, how
the
about
helmet is $10 and the air tanks are $10.
well, I'll wait. I'll wait.
See, that's my problem, is I can't wait. I'm very little patience.
I've actually been becoming more and more patient as the more AFOL I become because it's the long game.
I know.
It's the
It
long
really
game. But
is.
I agree with you. There are certain things that when there are certain day one purchases I can't not go get. So
Yeah,
I completely understand. Completely
I
understand.
agree. Yeah, I've got the Bugatti Bolide right back here, the black and yellow one that just came out.
Right.
And of course, I bought that because I was like, all I saw was Blacktron Bugatti. Right. So I bought it. I haven't built it yet, but I got it back here on my shelf.
Yep. Gotta love it.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. Those are day one purchases.
Yeah.
You got to have them every now and again.
Absolutely.
Do you have anything else to add, or would you like to jump into these sets?
Other than the fact that no, you know what? We can jump into sets. Let's jump into
All right, cool. All right. Well, the first one that I have here on our list is the original Kuso Ideas set, the NASA Curiosity rover, released in 2014, 295 pieces. What are your thoughts on this set?
This is one of those regrets.
Is it?
I didn't, because this literally was coming out just as I left my dark age.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been buying a little bit of Lego up into that point in time, a set here, a set there, but nothing hardcore. And then when the Lego movie came out in 2014 is when I came out of my dark age. And this was one of those sets that it was already gone and off the shelves by the time I started collecting. So it completely, I missed it completely. And it's one of those ones in hindsight where I'm like, yeah, that's a set I wish I could go back and have gotten. So,
well, you can always just buy it off Bricklink.
I know. It's again priorities.
Yeah. So 2014. I know you don't know the history here on me, but in 2014, I was coming out of a dark age.
Okay.
All right. I had just gotten with my current wife, and we had watched the Lego movie, and I said, this is a bad idea. We went on a date. I said, let's stop by Toys R Us. I picked up the Hobbit set, and I was like, if I buy this one, it's going to start a thing, and I hope that you can tolerate that thing that happens. This one was overlooked that year, but I have it on the way because it will complete my NASA collection. I have all the other recent ones that came out in the coming slides and the last few years that they've released. So this is the only one that I'm actually missing. So I'm excited to build it. There's actually a new Ninjago set. It's Kai's like Ninja Dragon Racer or something like this. It's brand new. It's $9.99, and it's got these black wheels on it that look like the wheels that are actually on the rover. So right. I'm buying a couple of those. I'm going to swap out these wheels. It's going to look fantastic. I can't wait. So a few weeks, I'm going to have that. I'll have it posted up on my Instagram right away.
Awesome. Yeah, I think those new wheels, aren't they? they're solid molded as opposed to being
they're hard plastic.
Yeah, so it's a kind of a throwback, which is kind of cool. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and they look super awesome. I mean, it's a brand new Ninjago set. You can't miss it. If you look up Ninjago, it's on the Lego website. It's $9.99. Comes with 4 tires, but I'm thinking, man, I need like 5 or 10 of that set just so I've got the extra wheels because I've got Blacktron stuff that I want them for and several different things. So yeah, this set, I'm super excited about this set. I can't wait to, get it here. Let's see. We got a few comments. Just some people saying hello. Okay, everybody's just saying hello right now.
Yeah.
So we'll jump into the Apollo 11 lunar lander.
This was a day one purchase. This was a day one purchase.
This was intense. When I saw this first, I was like, holy crap, look at that thing.
Yep. So for me, slight segue in here, this was my first Lego set. This was my first Lego set. Dang. So I sold my original one in the 80s on Yahoo auctions or whatever because my wife and I were young and poor and needed money. And so for my 50th birthday, my wife rebought this for me again. And which was even more awesome is that she got me one with a box. So I was able to, reclaim a little childhood history.
Dang. That's a hell of a wife right there, man.
Oh, she even bought me a monorail. So that tells you how cool she is.
That's very cool. Yeah, that's a holy crap right there.
Oh, yeah. So when they announced the Apollo 11 lander, I was like, I gotta have this. Big fan of the space program from when I was a kid, all through my life. But this set for me was like, it's minifigure scale. It's true to, the details are just fantastic. I mean, it's not gonna be perfect because, well, again, we're still dealing with Lego bricks and, there's certain things that they can and can't do. But as far as the details go and everything, it is a spot on fantastic set. Yeah, love it. It got built. It sits on the shelf. It's always there. It probably will ever not.
Yeah, I've actually got it. I've got it sitting right back here. I don't think anybody can see it, but it's right there. I love that set. I love the way that the base plate was built out with the little craters in it. I mean, it was just fantastic. Like through and through, an awesome set.
Yeah.
I even really like the gold stickers. Because as we were talking prior, there was the Discovery version of the lunar lander that came out several years ago, and it had tan pieces on it, and it wasn't the gold. I was like, what a knockoff.
Yeah.
But when they slap on that NASA logo, they had to go primo.
Gotta go more
I mean, with the the metallic gold pieces, the gold stickers. Yeah. I mean, it's a phenomenal shelf piece. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, because it's funny. I mean, in Fazum and I joke about shelf sitters, sets that you just build and they sit there, and there's pluses and minuses to that. But when Lego comes out with a set that is just cool, I don't mind putting it on the shelf and leaving it there because I enjoy still looking at it. And this is definitely one of those sets.
Yeah. And 100%.
And believe it or not, this set actually shows up in the new movie called Megan, which is like a robot. It's like a
really?
The lady who plays the designer of the robot, she's got shelves with like collectibles, and this is one of the collectibles on her shelves.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I haven't watched that movie yet, but that's interesting.
Yeah, because I was sitting there, I'm like, oh, I was doing the whole Leonardo DiCaprio. oh, there it is. There's that. So,
cool. We've got a few comments here I would like to address. James Westman, one of our regulars. What's up, man? This is the only NASA set I missed as well. Don't forget that they are making a Technic Perseverance rover on August 1st. James Westman, I am aware, and we will be discussing that in a few minutes. Thank you, sir. Steve is TroublesBricking. I'm old and poor and still buying Lego.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Yeah. So I don't know how to say that.
Sizu?
I don't know. I'm American. I'm sorry. Just bear with me. LL Steve. I'm only growing more poor and older as I collect more too. I think we're all in that same boat.
Yeah.
You know, every now and again, my wife will look at me and say, "You say you're not going to buy anymore, but parts just keep arriving. I don't understand where they're coming from." I'm like, "They're coming from Bricklink."
I don't even deny it anymore.
USPES. Dana, I just watched your Beyond the Brick interview about the giant habitat build. Talk about dedication. So cool. I know what he's talking about. It's you spent a lot of time on that.
And I feel like I'm still spending time on it.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty impressive. There's a lot of special parts you had to collect to get those colors just right on everything, and build them out. So
yeah, there was a couple of pricey Bricklink orders from Germany. So
I bet, I bet if anybody in the comments or anybody that's watching or watches later, be sure to check out TroublesBricking on Instagram, and you'll be able to see what we are talking about. Let's see here. Let's jump into the International Space Station.
Ooh. Again,
another super impressive set.
And another day one purchase. I realistically, all of these are day one purchase.
Yeah, they are kind of, yeah.
Well, when we get to the Saturn V wasn't a day one purchase, and there was reasons behind that at the time. But other than that, these have all been day one purchases. I think this one even came out on my birthday. So this was like a birthday gift to myself when I went and picked this one up.
That's cool.
Again, you can tell that the designers of these sets are NASA space fans, because the attention to detail that they went in these things,
yeah, it's intense,
is amazing. This is a great parts pack.
Yeah, big time.
I remember when I was building this, going through, and I'm like, oh, I need a second set just because I want the parts. I mean, it wasn't like now we're getting into more of a habit of where, unless we're being impatient, and I'm completely there, I bought sets just for parts. But there's a lot of times where you go, okay, I'm going to wait till these parts hit Bricklink or Bricks and Pieces and pull them in. But this was one of those sets where I was like, I just need a second copy of it, because there's so many great parts in this set.
Yeah,
it's such a great build, so well done. Yeah,
the printed solar panels are amazing,
and the fact that we got those in so many more sets after that is like, okay, this was great. This was, somebody was thinking, they were on board by doing this. It was just fantastic. Mm-hmm.
Somebody had our back.
Yeah.
So 864 pieces, 2020 release. I know, Dana, that you don't know my past, but I used to live in Tampa.
Okay.
I moved back up here to Tennessee. This is where my family's at. So I moved back up here about 1.5 years ago. But where we lived right on the Gulf, literally like 2 blocks from the Gulf. And there was one night where the International Space Station literally flew straight across the sky above our house.
Nice.
So me, the wife, the daughter, we're all out in the driveway, and we watch this thing go. And I thought it was going to be a slow process, but I'm telling you what, that thing is moving quick.
It's clicking.
I mean, it was like across. I mean, at that pace, you know, we're talking 400 miles up.
Right.
And you could clearly see that thing was scooting along, and it was very inspiring. And then I think that this set actually came out the following year, and I was like, done. I got to have it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a cool, and it was one of those things that I'll always remember.
That's an awesome memory.
It's kind of fun. Let's see here. James Westman, the Space Station was the first Lego set I bought and displayed at college. It was a big moment for me because I was always insecure about my hobby. Now I'm cured and don't care what others have opinions, right? Yeah, I don't care either, man. James, to be honest with you, I'm the owner of Brick Monarch Shop, as you well know, and I literally wear like an Ice Planet t-shirt to go to Walmart, to go out to dinner. Like, I do not care. Like, if like, what, I mean, let's think about some additional hobbies. My dad, for instance, he's a fisherman. Now, I'm not knocking fishing, okay? But I have the equivalent amount in my hobby as he does in his hobby for 50 years, including his boat. Okay. But I'm doing something creative constantly with them.
Yeah.
Versus his hobby, he just goes out and stares at water all day. It's like watching grass grow. Right. So, like, depending on who you are, I think Lego's an awesome hobby. It's a great hobby for children. It's a great hobby to develop an imagination at a young age. You know, I don't ever feel bad for being a Lego enthusiast ever.
Nope. So what's kind of interesting though about that though, which is, and I have a love-hate relationship with where culture has come to today, and what we're talking about. You know, when we were kids, you didn't talk about that you were still into Lego, or that you were still into comic books, or that you were still playing D&D or whatever. It was kind of like a closet thing. And now it's all the rage. Everything that we've been fans of our whole lives that you couldn't normally openly talk about for fear of, you know, being shunned or something like that. Now it's everybody and their brother, you know, is all pop culture and all excited about it. And it's kind of like, there's a part of me, it's like, this was mine. Go away. You know,
we have a lot of Dana. We've got a lot of those people in the Lego community.
Oh, well, this is true too.
Now we're not going to name any names because we're nice people, but there's people in the Lego community that don't belong because they weren't the diehards. They weren't the ones at 4 getting Lego sets from there until they were, you know, our age.
Right. Now, get me wrong. So I don't know if it's so much that they don't belong, but maybe we are getting a little bit. They need to earn their rights a little bit more. I think it's probably more is my thought process on that. So
let's get another decade or 2 deep, and then maybe they'll have some cred.
Exactly.
Got to get that street cred, man.
Exactly.
Steve is saying the only Lego NASA sets he owns is the 7467 ISS, which I think was the Discovery version. And the 7470 Shuttle Discovery, which I believe was also the Discovery release. Yeah, same. They had the box with the little blue pin that went around the edge of the boxes, just so that, you know, people can reference. Yeah, man, you're missing out. Steve, you ought to go and pick up all these newer ones, man. They're excellent builds. They are phenomenal builds, and I've heard that the Saturn V is an amazing build. Like from start to finish. Yeah, I have still yet to build it. I've got it up here in the backlog sitting on the shelf. I thought about building it today, but I built the classic Exo Mech from the Ideas with the little green spaceman in it. Yeah, I built that today.
The Peter Reed set. Love that.
Yeah. This little guy right here. Just so that everybody knows this one.
Such a great set.
It is. This is a cool little set. It didn't take me very long to build. But I didn't have 5 hours to dedicate to the Sat V. Yeah,
no, the Saturn V is definitely it's a long afternoon. It's a long afternoon.
Right? Yeah, it is. Let's see. We got a few more comments here, and then we'll move on. Uspez, my wife bought me the Octane and Classic Space T-shirts from you on my birthday. I don't even want to eat wearing them. Got to keep those mint. I'm the same way, man. I like to not do anything when I'm, you know. I've got a few that are older, and I wear them everywhere. I wear them out. I appreciate you shopping at the shop. Thank you. Let's see here. James Westman. This set also had a sticker patch GWP of the space station.
I actually have that. Believe it or not. Let's see here.
Yeah, I believe I've got it. I believe I stuck it. I when I get special things like that, I like to shove them in the instructions and then put the instructions in a dry, temperature controlled environment so that we don't get the moisture waves.
So
that's how I keep those things safe. Yeah, here, let me pull you up really quick. Full screen here so you can show what that looks like.
It came in a little box.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's a flat, as opposed to being like one of the, you know, the embroidered looking patches, but it's still pretty cool.
It is cool. Yeah.
And then because that kind of went along with, and we didn't talk about it, but when the Apollo lunar lander came out, it also had a patch as well. Again, it's also flat versus being, you know, an embroidered patch, but still pretty cool.
So it's like a printed patch.
Yeah, it's like a printed patch. But you know,
it's still pretty cool though.
Still pretty cool. A little sweaty.
Yeah. Let's see. Entertainingly lame says hitting us with the FOMO. Yeah.
I've got enough FOMO from watching you travel entertainingly lame, so it's only fair justice. It's only fair justice.
Right? He doesn't have a Lego den to climb into and like hide from the world, but he gets to see the world.
Exactly.
So you envy each other equally for different reasons, right?
Exactly.
Steve is saying he has nowhere to display his sets. Steve, you better just build an extra room on your house, man.
Or move.
Right? Or move. Shy Time's in here. Hey, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. You have anything else on the International Space Station?
I just love it's a micro scale. It's perfect for micro scale. I just loved how they did all this, and printing on the astronauts. I know that they did that in the Saturn V, and they reused them in this.
Yeah, I like the microfigs.
Great addition to the whole thing, and I love the fact that they gave it a stand to sit on, so it looks like it's floating.
Mm-hmm.
I've got mine up there, it's in a black bookshelf, so it looks like it's floating because the Technic ports blend into the background, so it looks like it's floating in space. Fantastic set. Fantastic.
Yeah, pretty awesome. All right, let's jump into the Discovery Shuttle. This was a icon set, technically. There's several ideas. There's a creator expert and the Kuso, and then an icon. So these sets are kind of spread out amongst various Lego themes as they're listed on the Lego website. It's a lot of pieces.
This is in my top 5 Lego sets of all time for me. I loved the shuttle program. I mean, it's funny. Fazum and I joke about the fact that Lego keeps making shuttles. Even in the Friends set, we got a shuttle, but we haven't been launching shuttles in 10 years.
Yeah, the shuttle program's done.
It's done. But at the same time, though, the shuttle is still iconic. It's still an iconic piece of culture of the space program, and they went all out on this whole design for the shuttle. I was really surprised by the build techniques in this set.
Oh yeah, fantastic!
It is. I mean, it is a solid build. I mean, there are a lot of bigger ships that Lego has designed and built that if you go to pick them up, you're a little like, am I going to lose something here? Am I going to fall off? No, this is a solidly built set. The wings are plate built. They are solid. And then the fact that everything opens up and all the details from the functions are just spot on. We got all those little computer screens. We got, it was just the windscreen. I had to actually bricks and pieces a couple of those because I know I'm going to use them someday down the line because this was just an all-around fantastic build.
Yeah. The fact that it comes with a full Hubble telescope build is amazing as well. And I mean, it's phenomenal on its own.
They could have sold the Hubble telescope as its own set.
I agree.
And
I agree 100%.
And I would have bought them both. And because literally building the telescope was just as much of a fun experience on its own as if it was a completely separate set.
And speaking to the structure of this, I know that you've got the new Galaxy Explorer.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can literally walk up. If that thing's got its landing gear down, you can literally walk up, grab a wing, pick it up like it's a pizza box, and it's solid.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can literally vroom that thing around your Lego room holding one wing.
Yeah.
I've tried it, and it works.
Yeah. Solid build.
Yeah. So, I mean, the wings on this are just as strong. The top fin there is a little... it's a little iffy because of the way that it's connected, but I mean, you can't expect too much, but the side wings are very, very stable.
Yeah.
It's a solid build. It's very strong. Again, with a great display stand that comes with it. I know that they do some of those stands with the Star Wars stuff, but I think that any spaceship that Lego releases needs a base that's built that comes with the set.
Amen. Hands down. The fact when they don't do it it's just it's a crime. It's a shame that they don't add.
I mean, because you really have to think about it and say, how can I make a stand for this?
Yeah, and not all of the set. I mean, some of them it's easier than others, but it would just be so nice, much nicer if the designers said, hey, we know what you want. Let's go ahead and throw in a stand. Even if they were to pop it up a couple of bucks for the pieces, would be fine by me.
No big deal.
Just by adding in the stand in there, you're going to say, hey, we're going to bump the sets a couple of bucks by putting the stand in. Fine. I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah. I mean, overall, this set's awesome. If you don't have it, sorry, it might be expensive to get now. I don't know if it's still available on Lego.
I'm trying to think. I thought I still saw this on the shelves in my Target, but I might be mistaken.
I mean, we're going on 2 years out. I mean,
well, that was just it. I mean, the Saturn V took a long time before they retired that one.
Well, there's a little bit of information about the Saturn V.
Well, there was 2 releases.
Yeah, there's 2 releases. One, so that run felt very long that the Saturn V was available.
That's true. That's true.
While we're on that topic, we can jump into the Saturn V, and I can point out here, the I guess the current version or the original version was 21309, and then the re-release in 2020 was 92176. So the original release was in 2017, and I believe I picked it up when it was released in 2020.
Okay.
So I got the re-released version of it, even though I'm pretty sure the box that I have has the 21309 number on it.
Interesting.
Not that it matters,
right?
At the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, the parts are going to be all, the parts will be stamped slightly different, but if you could go through and figure out the part stamping on those, they're probably still the same number parts from when they released it the first time. So
they are, because the 1969 is when the Sat-V went into space. And that's how many pieces are in the set. So that was the commemoration in the set to the part count. So they have the identical part count. Everything is pretty much identical in the whole set. I think the only thing that's really different is maybe a variation in the instructions or on the box or something like this.
Yep. And so Fazoom is making comments about that this is the magic of Mike Pisaki, who also is the guy who also designed the Galaxy Explorer, also the new castle, both the 90th anniversary sets. He was responsible for building this. Got to meet him, talk to him, gushed a little bit about this set when talking to him, because Fazoom actually made this comment, and I see it all the time, because this was one of those sets where I was like, oh, I want this, but it came out at a time when I was like, I got some other things going on, so I had to wait. But then Fazoom brought it to a lug meeting right after it came out, sat it down, and his comment was, this is a master class in snot, because there's hardly any technique in this at all. It's all clips, it's all snot, and to achieve that through this whole thing is a work of art all on its own. It is a phenomenal design and build. Can't gush enough about it. So you're going to enjoy it immensely.
I'm looking forward to doing it. I do know that some of the structure is similar to how the big towers were built in the micro scale Harry Potter Hogwarts.
Probably.
Because the round towers, and there was a lot of snot and pins and push this here and push that there, and then sideways and then back and forth, and that's how you get that round shape with the snot techniques, right?
Yep.
So I'm thinking that this is probably similar to that. Plus, we had the Ideas Treehouse, and it had a lot of the snot techniques through the trunk, and it was very solid too once that was built in. I can only imagine.
I also noticed in the UCS Razor Crest, the engine sections, very reminiscent of when building this as well. The way that they did the engine sections, it's that same style of snot and clip brick connections. It's still magic to make that work. It's phenomenal.
Let's see here. We got a few comments, and I may have to have you address one. Let's see. James Westman, Shuttle Discovery is hands down one of the best vehicle Lego set of all time. To be fair, just like TroublesBricking, I'm very nostalgic over the shuttle program. Yeah, I am too. I agree. Fazoom, magic of Mike. What is that?
Pisaki. Pisaki. Yeah.
Pisaki. Let's see here. The Saturn V was the last Toys R Us purchase in 2017 before they closed.
Good memory, though. Good memory.
Yeah, one of my last sets at Toys R Us before they closed was Lord of the Rings stuff.
For me, it was Lego Movie 2, or no, Lego Batman movie with some sets from that, and also some Nexonite sets.
Oh God! Ooh.
I that's my guilty pleasure is Nexonites. It's my guilty pleasure. I know
we don't talk about those on this channel.
Trust me, I shouldn't say just I, but myself and several others, we love to troll the Erickson brothers with Nexonites because it just makes them cringe. And when if you're gonna win, Lego Masters, you're gonna get somebody who's gonna give you a hard time, and it might as well be about Nexonites. So
yeah, I agree. Entertainingly Lame says he's curious how they did the step down in diameter. Maybe you can speak to that, as I have admitted that I have not built it yet.
It's been a few years since I built it, but there's some Lego math wizardry going on to make it work. The slope pieces do help though for a good chunk of it. But you're just gonna have to build it to understand. That's all I can say.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's pretty gnarly. That first step down towards the top of the ship is quite interesting as far as the build is concerned. And then the part above that is obviously just cone pieces.
Yeah.
So it's very simple. And from what I understand, you have to take the one top piece off to get the lander in there properly. And then it's supposed to, I guess, come off, and like this is how it's supposed to land and drop the lander and yada yada yada. But I think all that's kind of explained in the instructions.
Yeah,
maybe, or whatever. I just knew that much of it about it anyway. But yeah, overall, I think this is an amazing set. I haven't built it yet. I'm probably going to build it before the end of the week if I can squeeze it in. So I'm pretty excited. I've got all my NASA stuff here on the shelf, so it's the only one that's missing. So I'm super excited to work on that. Moving on, we have this wonderful little idea set, the Women of NASA. It's kind of a cool set. I'm not gonna lie. I like the little display sets like this. They're almost an immediate purchase for me. Like the skeletons of the dinosaurs, the museum skeletons, right?
Yep.
Similar concept. I was just like, yeah, I gotta have it. No reason to have it, but I gotta have it.
And then in conjunction, there was the Women of Science was the one prior to this too.
Yes.
So yeah, they all kind of go hand in hand. They were just the nostalgia of them all, and the feel of that was I gotta have. And the minifigures in this, the astronaut torsos and the jumpsuits are one of those ones where it's like, couldn't you have done this on a couple more sets? It's just
right. Or you just, you triple stack and quadruple stack the set, or buy the minifig on Bricklink or something. But yeah,
exactly.
The orange jumpsuit and the blue, the blue suit, it would be great to have, like, if you were going to build a really nice NASA display, you would need 10 to 15 of the orange ones probably, and maybe 20 to 30 of the blue ones as, like, special technician workers just in and around the shuttles or whatever.
Exactly.
However, I did recently see a video on YouTube comparing the old NASA suit to the SpaceX suit, which is like much more streamlined and much more advanced.
This is true.
Which is kind of wild. We've got a government related space program that's kind of like slugging through life. Elon Musk comes in with SpaceX and he's like, hold my beer.
Yeah. I almost feel like this is an appropriate time to do a shout out to anybody who has not watched For All Mankind on Apple TV. Have you watched it?
I haven't.
If you don't have Apple TV, find some way of either getting it just for the time being to watch the show, or find somebody who can bring you or get you the files. It is a phenomenal show because it goes up through the space program. There's some alternate history that changes some things, but it's where we would have wanted to see the space program go. And it's phenomenal. And the little nods to all of the history involved. And when you start thinking about how, whether it's waterfall for, agile thinking for business and stuff like that, They get a guy who comes in who's kind of an Elon Musk type of character, and using his money and his investments to further the space program, going further and stuff like that. It's a nod to, and there's a little bits of reality and little bits of alternate history, but it's really worthy of a watch if you're a space fan and the space.
Okay, if you said that was on Apple,
it's on Apple TV. It's called For All Mankind.
I'll check it out. I have Apple TV.
Oh, you will. Now I will say this: it'll take you a little bit to get through season 1 because it's a little slow. It's a little clunky at times, but about halfway through season 2, the doors come off and boom, you are flying, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah. Now I would have to say, if we're gonna go down that road, I would have to mention The Expanse.
Oh yes.
You want to talk about a sci-fi space that's like not Star Wars, but like modern age military version of space. That is one of the best shows to watch ever.
Yeah, I was really sad that it was like
me too.
It was like, we're going to cancel you. Nope, we're going to move you to another channel. Nope, we're going to cancel you. Nope, we're going to give you one more season. Oh, nope, now we're canceling you again. It's like, oh. But I hear that they're continuing the story in graphic novel. So if you were watching the show, you can read graphic novels to watch or to get the rest of the story that they weren't able to finish on the series. So,
well, that's interesting. That's good to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if a space fan, go watch The Expanse. You'll be amazed. It's pretty gnarly concept of it. All right, man, moving on. We've got 2 more slides I want to talk about. We got about 20 minutes. And for everybody that's watching, we do have to be quickly about this because TroublesBricking has got another show that he needs to get to with the Zoom, I believe.
Yep. We do Old Gray Bricks on
Old Gray Bricks.
Old Gray Bricks on. So if you Google Zoom on YouTube, you'll find us on Mondays and Thursdays.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check it out when we get off here. I'll jump in there for a bit and see what's going on.
Actually, the funny thing is that I may not be able to make it on the show because now I've been doing this show, so I'm actually gonna have to do some honeydews. So I'm actually ditching my normal show tonight.
Oh, come on, man.
Well, the wife isn't feeling well, and she was asking if I would get her some ice cream, and I'm like, well, can you wait an hour?
Take a nap for 2, right? Then you get ice cream.
Exactly.
So in the latest news, the Mars Perseverance rover, 1,132 pieces, going to retail at $90. Expected release is August. So I'm pretty excited about this. On the Whisper, it's a Technic set. So I'm interested to see how they implement Technic into it. Is it going to be a NASA release as well with the NASA marketing on it? I would assume it probably would be.
I would assume.
Because of all these other sets that have come out. So I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah.
That's going to be another addition to the NASA collection. And then also one other thing that I did want to bring up is SpaceX Crew 6 mission launch to the International Space Station. It happens Wednesday at 8 p.m. this week. So if you are into space and you like watching that stuff and you like being up to date, it's always fun to watch a shuttle launch. It's a pretty big spectacle. I'm sure there's going to be news coverage. There's going to be lives, probably on YouTube, Facebook. You'll probably be able to find it just about anywhere if you like anything SpaceX or NASA. So I just figured I'd mention.
I'm really curious why we haven't gotten a SpaceX set yet.
I feel like it's coming.
I feel like it's long. I think it's overdue personally. I'm really surprised it's taken this long that we haven't gotten one. Even if they release it sometime later this year or early next year, it feels like it could have been last year or something. Mm-hmm. It would have been more appropriate. So
I mean, it's been around for a minit, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's gaining a lot of traction at this point. So I would expect something probably in the next year or two. There's so many vintage shuttles, rockets, satellites, all these. I mean, hell, to be honest with you, they could do Voyager 1 and 2 as a Lego set.
Well, the funny thing is
that would be great display pieces,
Well, the funny thing is that Fazoom made a comment in the chat earlier about he's got a few shuttles, and then it's like, oh look, there's another one. Because I think in his basement, I think we figured it out. He has every shuttle that Lego has released.
Dang.
And it wasn't like he set out to do it. it was one of those things that just, it kind of became a point in time that he's putting them all together up on the display, and he's like, huh, I guess I have them all.
Now, is that including like the V2 shuttle and like the city shuttles and all of that?
I
Or
think so. I think so.
yeah.
I can't speak for sure, but I believe
So
so. Yeah.
the space sets that came out last year for city
Mm-hmm.
with like the moon dome and all that,
Yep.
you know, I've got all of those sets. I haven't built any of them yet. They're in the backlog. The year before that, the ones with all the orange, I
Yep.
didn't get even one of them.
I think I might have doubles for you. So I am not a city guy.
Well, me neither.
Yeah, but I mean, I have bought modulars, but those I classify. I've bought those for my wife, so that's how I can justify that I have the modulars. I buy those for my wife. But when it comes to city space, that's the space I'm getting. So
Yeah.
I got to pick them up. I mean, the figures are great, the parts are great, the builds are fun, and it's space. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm going to get my space fix, because I'm not going to get another Galaxy Squad or Space Police, because we've got Star Wars, and
Right.
that's going to be our space theme. You know, we're lucky enough to get the 3-in-1 sets that they did. The rover, they did another shuttle in a 3-in-1 set.
Yeah.
If they're going to give us little nods like that, sure, cool. I mean,
Yeah, I'll pick them up.
I'll pick them up. I mean, in the new city space sets, one of the figures that came in, the rover, is wearing a brown leather type style jacket, and he's got the classic space logo as a pin on his jacket. So I'm like, hey,
That's pretty cool.
Little nods. I'll take them. I'll take them.
I mean, don't they have the classic space logo on pretty much all of the astronauts from that as well?
They do. I want to
pretty
say
close.
they do, but they've changed the logo slightly for the city space logo. It's not the actual classic space logo. It's slightly
close.
It pays homage to it for sure.
Yeah,
but it's not exact. It's not exact. But yeah, a lot of them will have that classic space logo as a pin or a patch that's on their jacket.
I also noticed about that space theme that it was dedicated to Artemis. Yeah. And the shuttles and whatnot do have the NASA logo on them.
Yes.
I'm sure there's stickers probably in these sets.
Yeah, they are.
But like I said, I haven't built them. I have all of them, but I haven't built them. But I mean, I look at the boxes every now and again. I'm like, do I have time to put this together today? And then it just ends up going back on the shelf, you know?
Yeah.
But I did notice that it had NASA on there. And I know it's a city space. But I still think they're still pretty cool.
The biggest drawback on those city space sets, specifically in the Artemis one, not so much the line before that, but it felt like everything was about $20 overpriced of what it should have been.
Yeah,
which was
they
really
were a little expensive.
They were a little expensive, and I can only assume that was because there was a lot of new molds that were used in those sets, and so I think that was a justification of, hey, we've got these new molds. We're going to have to bump this price set up on this sets. We're also hitting that whole COVID bubble popping thing of where everything's going to be more expensive. And that maybe those sets were, victims of that as well. But they were all fantastic sets. I did wait on the Artemis until they finally started marking it down at Target. So I missed them when they were at good clearance on Walmart. But
I want to say, as soon as those were like a day one purchase for me on Lego.com. Okay. We did the 11 p.m. thing, that we can do here.
Yeah.
Because we're in Central Time and the Lego release time is Eastern. Yeah. So you guys have to wait till midnight. We wait till 11. Yeah. But that was a day one. I got the whole theme, just every set, just ordered all of them right then and there.
Yep.
So that's how I acquired those. Let's see. We got one more comment here. Espez, the last creator 3-in-1 with the rover, shuttle, mech, and the little VTOL ship were really nice.
Yep.
Better than the latest city space, I'd say. I'm not sure which one that is.
So that was the rover that you could build. There was a rover and a mech, but then there was the rover that you could build into a mech, and then it also gave you the option, when he's referring to VTOL, I think he's referring to you could build a little Vic Viper style ship into it, which was a nice nod to, prior sets and also just the community in general. So
yeah, that's cool. I'm not sure I'm aware of that one. I got one of the 3-in-1 space shuttles. It came out last year.
yeah. So, but it was the one prior to that one.
Okay, so it's the one before that one. Yeah, I've got it up here, but I haven't opened it or built it or anything, so I'm not even sure what the 3 options are in this one that I have.
The backlog of shame.
Well, we're getting into 50 minutes here. I appreciate you coming in here and talking with me about these NASA sets. Absolutely. And filling in the void where Jason is out.
I hope I've done him justice with him being gone.
Well, yeah, for sure, man. I mean, there's only a few true fans out there that I could say, hey, in 1985, what was your favorite Lego set? See, you would be able to at least come really close.
I could tell you because it was still my favorite Lego set from 1984 in 1985, which was the Uranium Search Vehicle, because that's still one of my all-time favorite sets of all time. So yes, I can answer that question.
See, some people don't even know what Blacktron is, right? Or space. I heard. I don't even remember where it was. I was somebody. Oh, I was watching a video on the build of this. On YouTube, and there was some comments on there from TikTok. Okay, and it was some millennial kid saying that the classic spacemen are like cancer, and I was just like, this kid right here,
he's asking for a whooping,
dude. Yeah, you don't want to meet me in a dark alley, bro.
That's not good.
No, I mean, it was just kind of, it's just, these kids these days, they have no appreciation for the classic art of Lego.
Well, I will say this, that's not all
of them, but there's a lot.
Because when I was in Chicago, I took with me, I did habitats in a big triangle, and it's all the classic space themes from the Blue Apollo lander, moon landing, all the way to Galaxy Squad.
I watched that.
And we had a kid come up, and I could see him and his mom talking, and he's going through, and conversation. So I pop up and I was like, hey, can you, because he was pointing out different ones and saying different things. I'm like, can you name them all? And this kid had to be 12, 13 at the max.
Wow. And
he went through, named all the themes, and even nailed, because I have the Space Skulls and Star Justice in there as well, which was from the factory sets, which is not a really well-known space portion of that, and he even nailed that. So I was highly impressed with this kid, who none of those sets. I mean, even the Galaxy Squad sets, but probably before that, none of those sets. He wasn't even alive when all those sets came out. So it was really impressive. So not all kids are horrible. Was Beyond the Brick talking to you about that? Not about that one. I think they did pass by it during their Brick World, their zoom through when they went through everything. They spun past that, but I haven't done a conversation with them on that one specifically.
Maybe it wasn't Beyond the Brick. I don't know. I feel like I've seen that video. There was a video on it where it was like a really long table and it had all the space starting with classic space.
Oh, that's a whole different video. that was a Brick Fair, Alabama, 2018. Beyond the Brick came to Brick Fair.
But that was you, right?
That was me. I
thought it was. Yeah. I thought it was, but
that thing is still getting comments 5 years later.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was pretty intense. I was like, holy crap, this dude has every space set like ever made.
Well, and the funny thing was, at that time, I had just finished. I had all the classic space, and I had all of M-Tron, Ice Planet, and a couple of the other things, but I didn't have the Space Police. So those were borrowed from somebody else for that timeline. But since then, I have since gone back, and I now have every space Lego set from 1978 through 1995, which takes us through Spirius and Unitron. And I'm slowly working on Explorians insectoids, and UFO.
The insectoids and UFO are two of my faves.
Now that's an uncommon
awesome.
comment.
Those are
that's
awesome.
An uncommon comment.
I love those.
It's people either love them or hate them. It's one of those eras where it's like, if you were a collector or you were still building at that time, you loved them. But it's like certain people who are just like, whether it's the color scheme or something. I personally love them. I think they're fantastic.
They are. I haven't dabbled in recollecting. See that I had all those before the Dark Age, right?
Okay.
So I mean, we're talking about the UFO, insectoids. We're talking about the same era where Rock Raiders was out.
Oh yeah,
like Lego was like through the roof in creativity.
Yeah,
in that span of years. I mean, the castle was phenomenal. Rock Raiders, you had the UFOs, then insectoids came out. I mean, super phenomenal. I had all of them. In 2017, my family took not 2017, 1997. Sorry, family went down to Disney, and so I got all of the UFO theme at Disney. At the Lego store there. I forget what it's called. It's been different names. Lady Bricks, I know you're watching. What's the place called with the Lego store? She knows.
And this is so this is the funny thing. This is knowledge that I would normally just drop off. Like,
yeah, I know.
But yet when I'm live and doing something, I'm like, disconnect.
Yeah, it is. Disney's
Disney Springs.
Disney Springs. It's yes. Disney Springs right now.
Yeah.
But before that, it was something else. In 97, it was something else.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
But it's where the big rock restaurant is.
Yeah, where the Hard Rock is, and
yeah, the Hard Rock
it used to also
downtown
Disney at the time. That's right. That's right.
Ridiculous.
Because it was downtown Disney, and then it was the Pleasure Island was the junction to there. Because I actually did a summer internship in 93 at Typhoon Lagoon, and that's where we went to go and have fun and dancing was at Pleasure Island in downtown Disney. So
yeah, so that year, I collected the entire UFO on that trip. So I had all these sets built. I'm not even quite old enough to drive yet. I'm like a year away, right?
Right.
That gives you like the dimension of where we are.
Yeah.
So I built them all in the hotel and rode in the car for 12 and a half, 14 hours back with these Lego sets built, like sitting everywhere in the back of the van. So like I had this whole UFO war going on for literally hours.
That's awesome. That's fun.
Yeah. So it's quite memorable. So yeah, man, I feel you on the UFO and the insectoids. Those guys are awesome.
Yep. I wind up. I actually have some credit that I need to go down and burn at Atlanta Brick Company down in Noonan. So that will probably be a few more of those sets that'll get purchased.
Yeah. I know that you've obviously lived down there in Atlanta. I figured you'd gone down there. I need to reach out to those guys because I wanted to come down and do a live coming in their show.
Oh,
they're in their store.
Absolutely.
And I see their videos. And I do the store walkthroughs and whatnot. And
I will warn you though, it is sensory overload the first time you go in.
Actually, I imagine it probably would be.
The 20th and the 30th time you go in is still sensory overload.
Yeah.
It's a lot to ingest all at one time.
I'm sure.
It's insane. And it's always changing. So every time you come in there, sets that were there are gone and there's new sets. The inventory is always rotating. So it's always a good trip.
Well, with us being just here east of Nashville, it's not a big deal to take a day trip and go down, visit a couple places in Atlanta, go hit that store. Yep. Just a day trip, not staying anywhere or anything, but that's an easy trip for us.
Yeah.
So I had thought about doing it. But yeah, man, good show. Good space stuff. I like what you're doing on your Instagram.
Appreciate it.
I like seeing the classic space stuff. I do. Most people know me as a Castle fan, but I'm a space fan too. I don't like City. I still don't like City. I don't like Ninjago. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but Castle and classic space is my jam when it comes to Lego.
You will continue to see that on my stream. I dabble in this and that from time to time. I'm definitely a Lego Renaissance guy. I will dabble in just about anything for, a little bit here and a little bit there, but the core is and will always be Lego Space. So
Yeah.
you'll always see that going on.
Before you get out of here, I know that you've got the like the dots art portraits of the classic space. Yes, those. Is there like a specific instruction somewhere that you can get a hold of for that, or
So camera's on either. So what I did is I basically just used the default instructions for white and then did color swap. So I went into Studio,
okay?
built the original mosaic, and you have the ability to do select all color and change. And so I worked out with what colors were available, and just to make that gradient look correct, because even on the white one, it's white and aqua to give you that slight shift in color.
Yeah.
So I tried to do that with every color I did. What colors worked good together to give that same gradient? The orange came out perfect. All the right colors existed to do the orange. I'd say green was also another one that was spot on, and same with the pink. The red's a little loosey goosey from my taste. There's a couple of there's at least one or two colors that I wish that Lego made that would make it better. Same with blue. The blue is also a little wonky. I know that there's gal out of Australia, Jen, and Snowlena out of Australia. They've been doing a big one where they changed the design a little bit. So instead of doing the exact Lego design and changing the colors, they've actually kind of pushed the gradient out a little bit. So instead of having to use 4 or 5 colors, they might use 1 or 2 to just still give you a little shadow, but not quite the realistic gradient kind of feel. So I know they've done that, and they've actually gone through and they think they've done all the colors, even brown, gray, black. They went through all the colors.
How many pieces are those each? Do you know?
Well, it's whatever the you know what?
Was there an art? Was there? I mean, just correct me if I'm wrong here. Was there an actual art kit that came with instructions to build one of the spacemen?
Correct, the white one.
The white one.
It was the creator art set, mosaic art set. They touted it as you could build all these different things, but the reality is we all wanted it just for the space set or for the spaceman. And there is instructions for each of the 9 panels to do that. And
is that still a current set right now? I mean, can I go on Lego and get that?
I think it might be sold out on Lego, but the Targets around me still have them, but they're still at full price. It's been weird. They were clearancing them out for a while because
well, that could mean that I might be able to get it on Target, like online too.
Yes. I think they run like 120.
Yeah, because I really would only need just the one. I mean, from there I could just bricklink the rest to do as many as I wanted to. I think that they're awesome. What a great way to display the classic. I mean, it's like I need one for each one of these guys.
And so 100%. I will give you my experience at this point in time. The set, if you can get them on clearance, is great because you're going to use about 80% of the parts that come in the set, regardless what color you do. I mean, you're going to wind up with tons of extra white because that's what it was designed for, to at least do the white spaceman. But for me, I just wound up buying them as I would find them on clearance because you're getting all the base plates, which are already $350 a piece on Bricklink or even Pick a Brick. And then the background dots you're going to need anyway. And then you wind up using several of the colors for the other spacemen that you're going to build. So it actually winds up being beneficial to buy several of the base core set. And then you also get the outer frame along it as well. And
then really all you're doing is filling in with the proper color of the 1x1 round plates.
Correct.
Or tiles. Yeah.
And that is definitely just a couple of Bricklink orders, or maybe a Lego order. Like I had dark green came out in the globe set. So that really wasn't available on Bricks and Pieces and Bricklink. So I had to wait for it to show up on Bricks and Pieces. And same thing with, I think it was medium lavender to do the pink one. It was another one that there was like 10 Bricklink sellers that had like 3 pieces a piece. So I had to go directly to Lego for those.
Yeah. Well, that might be a little bit more of an expensive venture.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not well, then again, this is Lego we're talking about.
I know. I mean, it could be a slow process. I was just curious, like I said, I saw that somebody you knew had built one where it had all the men and they were kind of like overlapped into one big giant frame. I really like that concept a little bit better than doing them as individuals.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it could be a great display piece above or below a shelf where you've got some of the classics sitting there with it.
That's my buddy Jeff Van Winnen out of Canada. He actually he credits me with the fact that I was doing the recolors of all the little ones, and then he's like, "Well, I want to do the same thing, but I can't just do what he's doing." And so I think he gives me credit for the reason that he did a big one with all of them on it, and it's cool. Fantastic. I got to see it in person because he came down for Atlanta BrickCon in February. He brought it down with him, and it looks fantastic. And I'm like, yeah. I'm gonna let Jeff have that.
Right.
It's cool.
Aubrey Frisk
Aubrey
is saying hello to you.
Yep, Aubrey's a local. She's one of my lug mates.
That's cool.
She's awesome.
Mason, buddy, I don't know what the subject is next week. I don't know if Dana's gonna be available next week on Monday. I don't know if we're gonna have a different guest or what topic or anything yet. So just bear with me. Look on Instagram. I will keep everybody up to date. Lego Den, are you late in here? Yo, what's up, man? I think you're late. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's about it, man. I was just, I was curious about the Spaceman plaque, and I guess that's just because I had fallen into the medieval world so hardcore over the last year and a half building my big castle.
Yep.
That I just kind of overlooked all the little art things and any, and I didn't even know that you could build the Spaceman with them. I mean, we've got a couple. We've got the Mickey Minnie, we've got Elvis, we got Marilyn. Those are all the wife's purchases. But I didn't know that you could buy one of those that had instructions for the classic Spaceman. So I was curious. So I figured I'd ask you, since you clearly have them all over your walls.
You get yourself on target.com. You might, I don't know. Last I saw, Lego had them as out of stock or back order, but they may still be there too. But I know Target's got some of them still. So
that's cool, man. One last comment here, Peter N. Thanks for the change of pace. I knew very little about Lego NASA, but these sets are pretty cool. Yes, they are pretty cool. Peter, and obviously the Brick Stop and I, we like to dive into the individual themes and go deep inside and talk about lore, and I mean, we get pretty carried away sometimes, but I figured since Dana was going to be available or could be available, and we were going to talk about NASA, I knew that he was a space guy, so I figured he would be the best person to come in here and chat with me on those sets. Also, before we go, I have to show these again. I have mentioned them once, but these are Lego bricks made of aluminum, which is the same metal used on the Saturn V rocket. They are really, I mean, you could throw one of these and knock somebody out. They're very heavy. I normally keep them in plastic bags so that they don't get damaged in any way, shape, or form, but they are pretty intense. They don't have the Lego marking on them, but they are polished aluminum bricks.
Those are cool.
They're very cool. And my initial thought in having these made was, the little turquoise green brick on the stand.
Yeah.
I was going to make a stand and put one of these on it. It was going to be a desk ornament.
That's cool. I like that idea.
Yeah. So pretty cool stuff. Lego Dan, did you get my message about the club sign? Maybe I did. I don't know. Lady Bricks, did you see that? I'm not sure. We will get back with you. I promise. Well, I guess that's it for the NASA Live with TroublesBricking. how you feel about next week? Do you want to jump in, or you're going to be busy, or what?
Well, like I said,
give some of these people some kind of an answer, right?
Actually, if you're not able to find another guest, I'll be more than happy to jump on again. The reality is, because Mondays we normally do what's called Messy Mondays, so it's not like we have a normal topic on my normal show. And it's good to give them a little break from me and give me a little break from them. So it's always good to freelance for a while.
Well, I don't want Fazoom to get mad at me now.
Oh, trust me, he's not gonna get mad at you.
All right. Well, okay. So whoever's in here still watching, maybe I'll discuss with Dana if he's available next Monday. Maybe we'll just have him jump back in and we'll talk about another topic. It'll obviously be another faction in somewhere in the Lego world.
I have all sorts of random knowledge.
Determined at this point, right?
Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on here and chatting with me about these sets. Once again, thank you everyone for joining in the comments. And as always, we always try to address everyone if it's topic related. And I hope everybody has a good night. Hope you learned something.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. You have fun with your space babies. Okay.
Absolutely. Maybe next week I can show some new stuff.
Yeah, I'll keep working on my castle and my Blacktron special builds, and we will hopefully talk next week.
Sounds good.
All right. See you, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.